pop the battle.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Liam Cogan. This is the 3 Bravo podcast, and today we'll be doing a state veterans benefits breakdown. Today we're going to be doing New York. So if you're living in New York, hopefully you're not living in New York City. Just kidding. I actually went and visited New York City for the very first time in my whole life. This year, it was a quick trip. We went on Fox News. If you didn't see, it was pretty cool, talking about our nonprofit event and what we're doing for veterans and how we're going to change the future for the veteran community. So really cool. Got to see One World Trade Center, Ground Zero. Did a running tour from, Manhattan, downtown New York, all the way through to Brooklyn, back. Very cool, very fun. Had some good pizza, had some good food, had a great time. But for you New York folk, here are your veterans benefits from your state. Now, if you haven't tuned in before and you haven't seen this segment before about state benefits, there are federal benefits that are not going to be covered here, and there are some state benefits. I'm not going to go into the full detail of how they work, what they are, because we have some other videos explaining some of these more basic benefits, really getting into the nitty-gritty. Go check them out. On our YouTube, check in our playlists in our state veterans benefits playlist. So first benefit that I always cover with every state is income tax. If you're kind of browsing some of these videos to see which state to move to, like which state is going to treat me the best post-service, New York doesn't do too bad. So breaking into this right now, military retirement pay and survivor benefit, fully exempt from New York State, New York City, and Yonkers income tax. So basically, a lot of people think that the military retirement survivor benefit plan, like that's all just a given that that's going to be tax free. It is not. Every state does not do that. So put that in the box for your state. Like check in the box. They're doing good things for veterans. They're at least looking out for like some of the most basic steps. Active duty pay. So you are exempt if the service member is stationed outside New York. If you didn't know this, when you dep out of wherever you go through MEPS and go to whatever branch boot camp, basic, you can claim that state when you get stationed wherever, right? If you're stationed in California and you're from New York and you MEPSed out of New York, you can claim New York as your state of residence. So if you are not currently living in New York, it may behoove you, if you MEP'd out of there or depped out of there, to claim New York on your taxes, because you will not get hit with active duty pay income tax. Combat zone pay, most states, if not all states, are exempting. I'm pretty sure that's federal, so I'm not even sure why I'm saying it. National Guard activated for duty pay may be subtracted from AGI for New York residents. And getting into property tax exemptions. So property tax exemptions are largely going to go through your county, city, whatever it is. Like if you're in New York City, it's going to go through maybe even your borough. I don't know. New York City is huge. There's a ton of people there. So I live in Virginia Beach. It goes through Virginia Beach, not even like the Hampton Roads greater area. It goes through Virginia Beach for my property tax exemptions. So you'll have to check your local, but here are some kind of here's how I can advise you. So there's alternative veterans exemptions, typically 15% assessed value reduction for wartime vets with added benefits for service-connected disability. So this is kind of like loosely saying that if you're a combat vet or if you have a larger amount of disability, usually 50% or more, most states, if you have 100%, you're going to get some kind of disability status here. Cold War vets and eligible funds exemption. So other local options, depending on service era, check with the local assessor. So if you're a Cold War veteran and you have an eligible funds exemption, which basically means you're not making too much money every year, you can check in with your county assessor as well. There are certain degrees of like, we were in the Cold War, but we weren't at war. Not a lot of veterans are going to be out there. Certainly not a lot of centenarians are going to be tuning into this podcast. But if you know one and you're taking care of one, or your grandfather or grandparent is one, help them out. Their benefits affect your family. So even if they didn't want to do them originally, it is a smart thing to do in the long run. If a veteran is 100% service-connected disabled, some municipalities are enacting full property tax exemption for their primary residence. So this is almost across the board, across the entire country. Check in with your county assessor, check in with your city, and just say, hey, I am a veteran. I have this disability status. Is there a property tax exemption for me? You can also ask ChatGPT. You can also ask Google. You can ask anyone for your county, or you can just give them a call. Super easy. Education and employment benefits. So this is not covering federal education benefits. Just remember that, because your federal education benefits like vocational rehab and employment and your GI Bill are separate from these. Some states offer really robust state education benefits, like Texas and Alaska. They offer full education, like a full degree, free for state veterans going to a state college. But some states offer different things for different sections of veterans. So this is what that is. State veteran education programs, some tuition assistance, and National Guard tuition support in the state of New York. You're going to have to look into your specific situation. This obviously almost always is going to apply exclusively to honorable discharge veterans. And this also kind of coincides with civil service hiring preferences. So if you're going into civil service, you're working for the state, you're working for the county clerk, you're working for toward your anything where you're going to be working for the state or your county, you are going to receive a hiring preference. That hiring preference usually goes towards your test. So you're going to take a test to get into civil service, and let's say Joe Schmo gets a 20 and you get a 20. They're going to take you because Joe Schmo didn't go to the military and you did. Okay, so that's basically how that breakdown works. And if you're disabled, you're generally going to get an extra point on top of that. You can also get a CDL military skills waiver based on your experience. So if you got a CDL in the military, that's not necessarily like the military version of a CDL is not a civilian CDL. However, New York State will kind of honor a program where you can get your CDL transferred very easily. Vehicle tax relief. So when you register a new vehicle, if you haven't done this, a lot of my military veterans have not done this. They don't understand it. Personally, I didn't either. The vehicle registration was crazy expensive. It can be like $500, $600. That's just saying I'm moving back to New York after service. I need to get my new license plate. That's what that's going to look like, $500, $600. And sales tax. So that's something that, the salesperson at the car lot where you're buying your vehicle should tell you. But if they don't, bring it up. Always ask when you're going through like bigger sales programs like that. Like, oh God, here it comes. All right. Bless me. When you're going through like buying a vehicle, buying a home, always talk and ask for veterans discounts. I know a lot of people don't like to or want to. There's just like this sense of I didn't earn it and or shame, or I don't need it. That's stupid. Just ask. Like it is stupid. It's just stupid. You're just giving people money. You served your country in whatever form or function. We guaranteed you a benefit. The company wants you to do it as well. It looks good for them. So at the state level, vehicle sales and use tax exemption for vehicles purchased outside of the state by New York resident service members. There's a sales tax deferral stationed outside the state. So check into that. If you're from New York, you may even be able to get a sales tax deferral on your vehicle that you bought in another state. I'm almost going to say that's certainly only if you register it in New York. And then some cities like New York City waive certain vehicle registration fees for veterans. So that's almost always going to apply to like 100% disabled veterans. That is usually the norm. Now, we're going to get back into that at the end of this episode, talking about current legislation that's going through New York that you should be calling your New York State congressmen, senators, and you should be calling your inside state legislature about as well. The next thing we're going to move on to is recreation and licenses. So resident disabled veterans, so 40% plus VA rating. Your New York veterans with a service-connected disability of 40% or greater or a permanent disability are eligible for reduced fee hunting. What is a permanent disability? Something like loss of eyesight, loss of arm, loss of appendage function, paraplegia, quadriplegia. They are eligible for reduced fee hunting, fishing, and trapping licenses. The cost is just $5 for one license, and you receive the other 2 licenses for free that year. So bow hunting and muzzleloading privileges are also included at no extra charge, but the base hunting license is required. You also receive priority for deer management permit selection, so that's pretty cool. So if you're a hunter, fisherman, those are great things to know. Don't pay full price for these benefits. Get what you've earned. Obviously, you have to be a New York resident for that, and you have to provide your VA disability letter dated with the current year. So literally just send in what you got and get your shit at a discounted rate. And then there's the Patriot Plan for service members. So New York resident active duty service members stationed outside the state may receive free fishing and hunting and trapping licenses when home on leave of 30 days or less. So if you're on leave, you're from New York, you're coming back to hunt, you can receive your hunting license for free. In a lot of states, all you have to do is have your orders with you, and I would care to wager that's the same for New York. But you can, and if you're a non-resident, but you're on leave, you can get resident pricing. So that's pretty cool as well. If you're curious about how that works, check out your state Fish and Game. Don't pay full price for all the things you need to do. Now, something I want to go over is proposed legislation for lifetime licenses, which is pretty cool. So SB, or Senate Bill S3 2025, proposes free lifetime sportsman hunting licenses, including hunting, fishing, trapping, and turkey permits for permanently disabled, honorably discharged veterans with no fee and no renewal required. That's awesome. The bill has passed committees, but is still pending final adoption. Call about this. If you are a hunter or a fisherman from New York, my buddies out there are, I'm going to text them about this. Call. Make the call. This would be amazing for you guys. And then there's SBS 4770 would authorize lifetime sporting licenses for permanently disabled veterans at a discounted fee of $65. This also includes hunting, fishing, trapping, and turkey permits. So it looks like these are just like working in tandem. I'm assuming SBS 4770 is for disabled veterans of a different disability level. Those are things that are probably going to be worked out at the committee level now. So make the call. The calls change shit. I promise you. When these people figure out that they won't get reelected because they're not going to vote on something the right way, like they vote the right way. All they want is to be in the public eye. All they want is to be reelected again. They think they're so important that it's only them that could ever serve the community. Call them and tell them that you won't. Okay. That is the power that we have in today's day and age. Burial and memorial benefits. Almost every state, so I didn't find any specifically, but almost every state is going to have burial and memorial benefits. Like I am certain that in Nevada, if I wanted to be buried in a military members, veterans plot, I have access to that with full military honors. That's something to look into for not only yourself when you make, when you write up your will, which you should do if you have a family. And it's something that you should look into for your parent who's a veteran or your grandparent who's a veteran. Start squaring that away. Ask them if they want to be buried with their military cohort. So I think I already said this. So we're going into the Senate bill that I was talking about earlier. SB S5 259 proposes full state income tax exemption for veterans aged 85 or older starting in 2027. So listen, this isn't going to apply to you now, but these things help the greater veteran organization of your state, the greater veteran community of your state, and it can affect you when you're 85. Hopefully we all live to that long. If you're, a man in America, I think that's like our our average lifespan, which is low, but maybe with some changes we can change that. It's a good thing. Full income tax exemption for those 85 and older who served. I think that's pretty awesome. And this is S01183 suggests establishing a full property tax exemption for 100% service-connected disabled veterans across the state. So call, note those bills, and say, I want you to put it all on the line for these. You represent me. This is what I want out of you. That is something that you should and can demand from your local representative. That's what they're there for. They are there to voice your opinion on a big stage and make decisions that you thought they were capable of. So call, get those bills passed, continue fighting for veterans in your state, and I'll continue fighting for veterans in mine and across the nation. I appreciate it. Those are your New York Veterans Benefits. I'm Liam Cogan. This was the 3 Bravo podcast, and this was the New York State Veterans Benefits Breakdown. See y'all later.